Bismillah. Welcome back, Zoo Crew. All right, so where do we begin? I guess we'll start with last night. So I got a message, like a pretty cryptic message, and then so I was a bit worried. And then when I got like the actual news, it was good news, you know. Um, and yeah, it is good news in the grand scheme of things, I guess. But the thing is, it made me quite angry the more I reflected on it and like what it meant. And yeah, so I've been like processing that, and then I ended up being up like pretty late, just kind of like trying to make sense of everything that I was just told, right? And yeah, so I mean, I woke up, I forced myself to wake up, I prayed Fajr, and then I had only slept for like 3 or 4 hours, like not even. So I decided, okay, well, let me just like rest a little bit, you know? So as I was like getting ready to pray, I was like making my wudu. Um, I was like reminded of the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, or Joseph, as like non-Muslims would know him as, right? And I think it's like pretty relevant to everything that I'm going through in my life. And it was just kind of weird that like this just kind of came into my head, you know? I guess that's what like God working in mysterious ways or like guiding me when I ask for guidance, you know? And a lot of times I pray, I like ask for guidance. It's not like I'm asking for like do this or do that. It's just like kind of show me a path, you know? And like if you read The Alchemist, it's kind of like the omens, so you gotta like trust the omens, the good ones and the bad ones, and like make your decisions first of all without relying on the omens. But then if you get to a point when you like where you can't, then like ask God for guidance, you know? So yeah, I guess today like we'll talk about kind of the story of this prophet and what like kind of the lessons are, right? So essentially, he has a dream, and in this dream, uh, like he tells his father, who was also a prophet, and then his father is like, "Oh, like be careful, don't tell your siblings about this dream," you know. And the father raised all the siblings the same, but like there was still envy and like jealousy between them, right? So I guess the first lesson being like the people closest to you, even your own siblings, your own like family, will betray you, you know? So don't take offense to it. It is just what it is, right? Human nature. So like if the prophet's own siblings can betray him, what's preventing our siblings or family from betraying us, right? And then so his brothers end up taking him, like telling the dad, like, yeah, we're gonna take him out with us and whatnot, right? So they grab him, they throw him in a well. Then they go back and they tell their dad like, oh yeah, like wolf ate him, you know. The dad is suspicious, doesn't like buy the story, but he's like has faith in God. And then now what happens is there's a caravan passing through, so the brothers go and they take him out of the well, and then they end up selling him into slavery for like a few silver coins, like not even much, you know, just very very cheaply. They just sell him into slavery. Now he ends up in Egypt, and the finance minister ends up buying him, right? And they weren't able to have their own kids, so he tells his wife like, hey, we can either like have him as a servant or we can like take him as a son. And um, essentially like this like prophet Yusuf or like Joseph is like known to be like a very handsome, like very beautiful type of person, right? And it gets to the point where the minister's wife is like trying to seduce him, and he stands his ground. He's like, I have faith in God, like I'm gonna walk the path of God, you know, like I'm not gonna commit sins or like be seduced by you. And then like her honor comes into question because like her husband walks in and sees what's happening, and she's like, ah, he tried to like come on to me, etc. And then like she goes to a point where she invites a bunch of her like female friends over, and then like as they're like cutting their fruits, she calls him into the room, and now like without even realizing it they're cutting their hands, right? So she's like, this is the person, like this is like the guy I'm being blamed for like trying to seduce or like being attracted to, you know. And then again like she tries to like seduce him and like gets to a point where now she's like feeling insecure and goes and tells her husband like, oh, like to for your honor and like um reputation, like we need to put him in jail, right, to protect your honor. So now he's thrown in jail for something he didn't even do. And he's like not upset or anything, like he's telling God, yeah, I would rather be in jail than like involved or like take what these people are giving me. And he's just patiently like biding his time in jail. And then two of his like companions in the jail have these dreams. And so one of them, he tells him like, yeah, you will be free. And then the other one, like, you will die, right? So the one who's free, like, he tells him like, oh, like, tell your master about me. Time passes, and then the king of Egypt has a dream, and he's like, what does this mean, So this one companion who was set free, he remembers now, oh, I should go back and take him to I should go and like tell him about this person, right? And Joseph. So now they go and ask him, and he's like, no, I will not come out of jail until my innocence is proven, right? Like that's the level of like confidence he has. So now the king invites all of these women, and they're all standing up for him. They're like, yeah, he's innocent. And then the wife of the finance minister is now put in a position where like she has to come clean. So she tells them like, yeah, look, like I lied, it wasn't true. So now his innocence is proven by the same people who are trying to like put him down and like ruin his reputation and smear campaigns and these things. So now he like explains the king's dream to him, and then one thing leads to another, and eventually like he's pretty much running the kingdom. And then what happens? His siblings arrive in Egypt, and now they're like, the youngest brother is framed for like stealing from the palace, right? And this guy has so much power now that he just literally needs to like make one look at his servants, and all of these people lose their heads, right? And what does he do instead? He just kind of, he doesn't let them realize it's him. He forgives them and then shows compassion and empathy, right? So it's a very interesting story, and there's a lot of lessons in it. And I guess the main lessons are, first of all, like your family or your blood can betray you, and they probably will. The other lesson being, have faith in God, have patience, and just accept that whatever path you're on or whatever trials you're going through, like it's all part of the plan, right? You don't know where you're being led or guided to, so you just have faith. And you should live with honor, you should have morals, ethics, and yeah, right? I mean, there are so many other lessons in this, but I guess these were like the main lessons that kind of resonated with me, just given everything that I've like been through and then like the news that I received yesterday, you know? And I guess like the other thing about this is, so like whenever I like just go through my like Facebook memories or something, or like my Instagram archive from like the stories, I'll come across these like reoccurring themes, right? So like 4 years ago, I had made this post, or maybe it was like 6 years ago, and it was just like a image with like text that said, "You will continually like be put in the same lessons until you learn the lesson, and once you've learned the lesson, now you can move on to the next lesson," right? So I guess in all of this, I didn't know what the lesson was that I was like being taught. And I guess the lesson really was, it's like, look, you're going to be tested, and it's not about the test or like what the test means, right? The lesson I was being taught is your reaction to the test is what matters, right? So um yeah, now I've like realized that. So it's like, okay, all of these things like are gonna happen, and it's like I can either choose to be angry, or I can choose to be like sad or like a victim, or I can just be like, okay, cool, like this is part of the plan, this is part of the test, and like I need to maintain my composure, right? And I can't let these like the outside world affect me or like bother me. So I think that's the lesson that I'm being taught like repeatedly that I just haven't learned. So hopefully like inshallah this time I've actually learned the lesson, and now I can move on to the next lesson. Um yeah, what a day. What a day. What a life. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for today, I guess. And it's super early for a video because it's like 3:30. But I figured let me just get this out of the way right now, so I'm not like readjusting my day throughout the day and like worried like, oh shit, like I still have to do this video, right? Because it comes down to discipline. It's like, yeah, I don't have to make a video every day, but I had set my intention to make one every single day. And discipline is doing things you don't want to do, but you know you have to do, right? So yeah, Zoo Crew, that is, I believe, day 25. So only 5 more days till day 30. This is wild. And to everyone who's like a new subscriber or everyone who's just been kind of watching all of my videos to the end, again, like I really do appreciate you. And I hope that my story or my message resonates with you or inspires you and gives you like the courage or the faith you need to choose a life of your own and not be like put into these roles or let other people tell you how to live your life, you know? And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.